saying,
the bottom of the pyramid.
Where I come from, there's a saying that if you want to be a liar, you better have a very good memory. First of all, Raila did not swear himself in. We swore him in. And we take responsibility.
You carried him to Uhuru Park?
Myself and all the others. He did not swear himself in. And secondly, there was no act of treason. And that's the reason why yourself and others who at that time you felt very, very comfortable with were unable to actually charge him with treason. We saw him as the people's president. He still is the people's president till today. You like it or you hate it. It's up to you. Secondly, the charges that you always try and insinuate the Prime Minister on in the 1980s, he was charged in August 1982. By March of 1983, those charges were dropped. He was detained, put in with no trial whatsoever. In fact, at that time, there was the public security regulations. There were not even laws that were detaining this gentleman. For a good almost 9 years of his life, he ended up being detained. This was just one of the excuses that was used for him to be detained. And when you mentioned that Raila has been Prime Minister before, yes, he has. And let me tell you what happened when he was Prime Minister. When he was Prime Minister, it was a time when this country was able to actually say that we need free primary school education, and it happened. It's the time. Shake your head, nod your head, but I'm hoping that you're nodding it in appreciation. During his time, the SGR was signed at a lesser amount of money. Today, we're grappling in debt. That debt that was signed during a time when the Deputy President was in full command of this country. You cannot tell us that as part of an executive, he was not even able to do anything else. During the time of Raila Amolo Odinga, the SGR debt was at about 2 point something. They went and re-signed this debt months after coming in as the Jubilee government. Months after coming in as the Jubilee government. Today, as the coastal people, we're crying out, and Raila Amolo Odinga is supporting us in this cry, that we need to relook at how we're going to get out of the debt shackle. That courtesy of the same person that you are trying to glorify that has an economic model. That economic model, he should have implemented it when he was the Deputy President. And I'm insisting on this again and again. The best economic model that this country needs right now is stop stealing. It's simple as that. Stop stealing. Stop stealing. You're stealing, and the worst part is, and I'm using this, you're extorting poverty. You steal, and after stealing, you go back and you tell the same person that, you know, oh dear Lord, I realize that you have nothing else here for breakfast. You just sold 3 trays of eggs from him, and you're giving him 1 egg. And in most cases, you end up leaving people. Have you seen what is happening? Do you realize who actually is causing chaos? Do you know, whenever the person that you are trying to glorify his economic models, let me tell you the economic models that has been happening. Every single time that the Deputy President has been going round in this country, have you seen that there's been violence? Violence because you're extorting poverty. You can't go somewhere and tell people that, nawacha hapa milioni mbili na nusu, and you've just left with your chopper. You're leaving people there not knowing how that money is actually being distributed. I come from Mombasa. I know of a Boda chair that his house was about to be put up in flames. I know people who ended up having problems. It's been the media, the same media that you try to glorify, and you're telling us about OCA principles being let down and the rich are trying to give to Raila Amolo Odinga. Mention that as well. That the people who started burning tires on the street in Central Province because it was perceived that Ruto went there and gave out some money. Mention that, you know, he went out and tried to give some money in Kisumu as well. You're extorting poverty. You're not even Robin Hood. Because you're not stealing from the rich, you're stealing from the same poor people. The same people who are taking Fuliza loans, they're taking those Fuliza loans courtesy of yourself. The same people who are languishing in poverty, The same 14 million people that you're talking about, you caused it. You are the one who caused it. When Raila Amolo Odinga was Prime Minister, that you rightfully put he was the Prime Minister, the poverty index in this country was not as it is. So do not tell us anything about that. And first of all, William Samoei Ruto did not even go ahead and even say no to the BBI loan. He led the no campaign in the last time. This is a person who does not believe in devolution. And I'm not saying this because I'm putting words into his mouth. He said it himself. He did not believe in a constitutional change where people, you would not even be speaker here today. Do you know that? If it was not for Raila Amolo Odinga and the others, I don't know where you were part and parcel of the yes or no then. But Ruto, William Samoei Ruto, was against not just the BBI. And I'll tell you one thing. You want to know the qualities of the person that we're talking about and you feel that we're glorifying him? Let me give you those qualities that he believes in. The BBI process was stopped by the courts. The words that Raila Amolo Odinga used is that we will, as much as we will disagree with what the courts have said, we will respect those decisions. That is Raila Amolo Odinga for you.
Of course,
all right? You gotta have to let me finish. Also. I mean, I let you try and explain things, and I'm saying this again. Where I come from, there's a saying: if you want to be a liar, you better have a very good memory. You better have a very good memory. Because Raila Amolo Odinga fought and is still fighting for devolution in this country. I'm sure where you come from, you've got MCAs. This is the thing that you're talking about, that you're saying that Raila Amolo Odinga actually went behind. You've got MCAs right now who are complaining that there's no development in their particular wards. What Raila fought for in the BBI was that every single ward would have a ward development fund. What Raila fought for is the same thing that you're crying right now, that there's not enough money going into the counties. That he fought for, that a larger percentage of money that is from this national treasury, so that we do not have those political elite who are sitting in national government having a larger cake, not for them to be able to distribute, but for them to be able to continuously eat. Okay. That is the economic model that we believe in. Stop stealing from the poor, give money back to where it deserves, take money back to the grassroots. You're talking about BBI being stopped by the courts. Let me tell you what the court stopped. The court stopped millions of Kenyans who appended their signatures as per the IABC regulations. The court stopped all those counties that actually went ahead and approved the BBI. The court stopped the National Assembly's approval of the BBI. The court stops the Senate's approval of the BBI. So the court approved the views, and we respect those views.
Gentlemen, let's cool down this temper.